Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So today we have another puzzle by FullDeck and missing a few cards. We haven't done one of theirs, I think, in probably a week or two now, I guess it's been. But they make quite a few puzzles, I'm sure all of you know. This one's called Cornering a Killer. And as always, let's get these rules, and the link will be in the description below. And you all can try to solve this one for yourselves once I get ready to go here. So anyway, let's get into our rules. As you see, there's not very many rules here, so it's not going to take too long to get through this thing. So through the rule sets, not the puzzle. So the rules are normal Sudoku reply, so the digits 1 through 9 must appear in every row, column, and 3x3 box if my mouse would work with me today. And then the only other clue is killer cages. So digits and cages cannot repeat and must sum to the value shown in the upper left corner of the cage. So pick any one of these that you want. There's quite a few of them. Let's look at this. Let's do the 14 cage. So whatever these two digits are, they must add up to that 14, and they cannot repeat. And the no repeating is a good thing to remember with killer cages, because there are instances here where if that was left, or that rule set was not stated, you could technically repeat digits within a cage, but in this case you cannot. And I think the one I did either yesterday or the day before now, by the time this thing posts, I absolutely read the words digits and cages cannot repeat, and then like 30 milliseconds later said, well, there isn't a thing that says you can't repeat digits in a cage. So let's try to pay attention to our rule sets a little better. And luckily, the other one didn't have any chance where that could occur anyway. But anyway, let's stop rambling and let's get into this puzzle. So again, Cornering a Killer by FullDeck and missing a few cards. Now, where are we going to start on this thing? And there was a couple of things that I noticed when I was just glancing through here. Yeah, like this 7 here. So this has to be 1, 2, 4. It's the only way you can make 7 in 3 digits. This 6 has to be 1, 2, 3. It's the only way you can make 6 in 3 digits. Now, these 8 clues, they have multiple options, but you always have to have a 1 in them. Now, I'm hesitant to, because we've got 3 different regions that these fall into, I'm kind of hesitant to mark them at the moment, but we might have to go back and do that at some point. The other thing I noticed were these 5s. So we've got 2 different 5s. There's only 2 ways to make a 5. So we're going to get all of these, the 2 different versions are going to occur in these 2 cages. So we can just put the 1, 2, 3, 4 in them. And we'll then know that these are 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, but we're not going to put those in because there's just way too many options going on about there. So now that we've got the easy stuff out of the way, is there anything else we can do? Let's look at this 15 maybe, because we can't use 1, 2, or 4. So the bare minimum we can use is 3, 5, and 6, but that's, well, that is going to work out because the bare minimum we can do is 3, 5, 6, which is 14. But we have to get to 15, so we only have one digit of leeway, so therefore we can't do 3, 5, 6, but the only other way to do it would be a 3, 5, 7. And that's actually going to tell us that these have to be 6, 8, and 9. I don't know that that's going to be useful at the moment. And we can't really do too much, I don't think, with these guys. It's very close to being an X-Wing, but not quite, because we have options here still. So let's look elsewhere for the moment. How about in this cage, because we've got, or this region, because we have 2 cages that add up to 26, and then we've got 3 digits left over. So we're looking at 19 more, because as you know, all regions where it's a normal Sudoku rule will include the digits 1 through 9 once each, and they all have to 45. So 45 minus 26 would be 19. So 19 in 3 digits, I think there's multiple ways you could do that. So I don't know that I can go into too much there. And the 20 cages are just slightly low enough where we're not guaranteed a certain digit. Because if we were at the 20, well, if we were up to 22, we could say there had to be a 9 in them. 21, it could be either an 8 or a 9. I think 20, it has to be either an 8 or a 9 as well, but that's not doing us much good, like I said. So the question is going to be, where the heck are we looking here? How about 9 in this region? Where can it go? Can't go in any of these or these, but it could go in either one of these. It's not very good, is it? Is there anything with further you can kind of do with 9s throughout the grid where they just cannot go? Let's kind of take a look at that and see if there's anything even closely usable. It doesn't appear like there is, which is interesting in that it doesn't do much for us. Okay. I'm very quickly running into a problem here, i.e. trying to figure out what the heck I need to do. So let's scan about and see if we can see anything. I mean, is there anything we can do with this? It's either 1-4 or 2-3 up here. Those are our options. Oh, wait, we can't do 2-3, can we? Because of an X-Wing. So I might have dismissed this a little too soon. Because if we were to put 2-3 here in these two, let's just get rid of the 1-4 now as the example. If we were to put 2-3 here, we have a 2-3 pair down here. So we have an X-Wings of 2s and 3s. So 2s and 3s can't go in any of these spaces, but we know we have to put a 3 up here. So therefore, this cannot be that. Let's go and put that in. So that tells us what this 5 is. Okay, that's something. Now again, we know we have to have a 1 in these 8s, so this one can't now be a 1. We also know we can go back to our X-Wing and say this can't be a 1. Because we've got 1s in here and here. But what does that give us? It tells us there's a 1 here. But I don't think we can get too much use out of that just yet. Now, this digit, yeah, I guess that really doesn't have much to it, does it? Well, actually, we can't. Let's look at this 8, because we can look at it and do some more. We know there's a 1 in here. We know there's a 1 in here, so neither one of these can be a 1. Because this region, this would take it up, and this region, this would take it up. So this has to be a 1. And what does that do for us? No 1s in here. There can't be a 1 in the 20 cage. So one of these would have to be a 1. There's no 1s in any of these, so there has to be a 1 in this 10 cage. Now, if there's a 1 in the 10 cage, we've got 9 left over. We obviously can't do 8-1. And we can't do a 6-3 or a 7-2. So the only thing left is 1-5-4. Because we have this 2-3 pair here. So we get a 1-4-5. Okay, can we take that any further? What's the rest of these guys going to be? They are from 6, 7, 8, and 9. This can't have a 9, and it can't have an 8, and it can't have a 7, so it must be a 6. Okay, there we go. Now that we've got a 6 in this thing, these have to be from a 1-2 pair. 2, because 6 plus 1 plus 2 obviously equals 9. Okay, there's something. Well, if this is a 1-2, this one can't be a 1. And we can again say that none of these are 1s, but we don't quite have enough because we can have any of these be 1 as well. So what about this 8 clue? Because we know there's 2 different ways to make 8 with 3 digits. It's either 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4. This can't be 4, so this can't be 3. This can't be 2, so this can't be 5. 1, 2, 3. No, we don't quite have a quad going here. So maybe that's not super useful at the moment. trying to look, kind of stretching around, looking to see if I can find some things that are going to give us any better information here. The 4s and the 5s. I mean, we know there can't be a 4 in any of these, so one of these has to be a 4. And what more can we get out of that? Anything? I don't really see if there, I don't think there is, what I'm trying to say. Well, maybe there's something we can do with this 8 clue that we were kind of able to do something here. So we know one of these is a 1. We know this one here can't be the 1 because we already have a 1 up here. So let's get rid of that. Oh, does that give us, that gives us a little X-wing, doesn't it? That's kind of weird with this guy. Because we know one of these has to be a 1. We know one of these has to be a 1. So nothing else in these 2 columns can possibly be a 1. Is that accurate? Yeah, it has to be accurate. It's just a standard old X-wing. So this one's not 1, and these 2 are not 1. So this, oops, wrong button. This one has to be our 1, which means this one has to be a 1, and this one has to be a 2, because that removed that option right there. Okay, and therefore this is not a 1, so this is a 1. Okay, now we're starting to get somewhere. Again, we've got this 1 here pointing over here, so this is the 1. So said the Oracle. Or Morpheus, however you want to look at it. Okay. I guess we can try to finish this, but I'm not, maybe this will give us something. Because again, the same thing as we did over here, there's only 2 ways to make an 8. It's 1, 2, 5, or 1, 3, 4. This can't be 4 or 5 because of these guys right here. This can't be 2 or 4 because of these guys over here. So that just gives us the answer, because now we can't put a 3 in here. It has to be 2 and 5. Okay. We are slowly picking up some information here. Now we can look at this 8 clue, and so like we said, we can only do 1, 2, 5, or 1, 3, 4. We just did 1, 2, 5 here, so these have to be from 3 and 4, which means this is not a 4, so this is a 4. Alrighty. What are we done with our 1s, or getting close to being done with them? Yeah, we can go further with the 1s looking at Sudoku, because we said we can't ever put a 1 in a 20 cage. If you have 19 left over, you'd have to do 9 and 9, so this has to be the 1. We can get rid of that guy. What do we have left now for 1s? We can put the 1 up here, and then we're left with an X-wing over here of 1s that's left over, so we can't do anything with those at the moment. Okay. Now, sorry, my brain froze there for a second. Trying to think of which one of these cages is left that's going to give us any information. Can we go back to this grouping of cages, knowing that this is kind of a mid-digit? So what we said, this was 26, so we said we had to get 19 left, right? So if we do 5 would be the most you get, and then 14 would be the what would be left over. There's still a couple of options there, so I don't think that's really going to work too well. So maybe that's not it. I'm gonna say I was looking at 2s there for a second, but I don't think the 2s are working yet, because we're gonna get 2s in one of those 2, or get 2s in one of these guys, or these 3, I mean. But there's not really anything else doing there. And then, of course, 2s can't be in any of those because of these guys here. Okay. What about 5? I just saw 5 looking here. We can't have 5 in any of these. Come on, mouse. So one of these has to be a 5. That gives us an X-wing on 5s. So none of these can be 5s. It's not really useful though, is it? Okay. Well, I guess that is sort of useful. It is actually useful. I mean, we could have just stopped here and said it was just as useful. Because we do have this 14 cage now, where we had 2 options previously. I hadn't even talked about it, I don't think. Because once again, it had options, so it didn't seem like the place to go at. But you can do either 9-5 or 8-6. Well, now we can't do 9-5, so we have to do 8-6, which means this one up here is just going to turn into a 9. Now, we know there has to be a 7 down here, and one other digit from 2, 3, and 4. Oh wait, well the 2s and the 3s are already taken. Well, that's gonna. We probably could have. Could we have used this before? No, we couldn't have until we got this. I don't think. Although, yeah, we probably could have thought about whether or not 2s or 3s could ever go in a 14 cage, and they cannot. So that would have probably been maybe a little more elegant way of thinking about it. But so where does the 2 and the 3 go in this column? Is the end game here? The 2s and 3s can't go in any of these spaces, so they must go in these 2, and there's only one way that will work. This has to be 3, and this has to be 2, and that's going to give us some extra digits. This has to be a 4. Now we can get rid of this marking and put it in more solidly. So now, did that open anything else up? So yes, that 4 gives us our 1 and 4. That gives us a 1 down here, which finishes our 1s, so we've completed them. That's good. What else? Can we now get into... We can do a little bit more Sudoku. These have to be from 2 and 5. This has to be from 7, 8, 9. I'll just put it in there because I can see it. And these 2 digits here now should be givens of... What are they? 7 and 9? And there's nothing really looking at that. Oh, we get an X-wing on 7s, but we already knew that. Excuse me. So the 7 and the 9 leaves these 3 digits as 6, 8, and 3. And none of those are... Can we reduce this? If this is a 3, we're left with 17, which has to be 9 and 8. No, that'll work. Because this could be a 9, 8. This would be 7. This would be 6. This would be 7. Yeah, it seems like that would all work, wouldn't it? I don't see how it wouldn't. We do, well, we do have to have a 4 in here somewhere. No, we don't. Sorry, being stupid. Didn't see that 4 right there, or that 4 right there. What is it that has to go in here? We have to have a 5 in here is what I was looking for. Brain's not, it's early in the morning, so brain's not completely working just yet. So in this row, can we do anything further? We have the 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we know we have to have a 5 in here, but the 6, 7, 8, and 9 are still all left over. Now, I mean, we know there can't be both a 5 and a 3 in here, but I don't know that that's going to be all that beneficial to us. Maybe we do need to just put these digits in and see if there's anything in this that we cannot use. And I've already kind of regretted doing that because it seems like it's such a cluster in here now that I've done so. Yeah, I don't like that at all. I'm going to remove that for now. I'll come back to it if we need to. What about these guys? We can look at it from a different perspective, I guess. again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 already taken. So these have to be from 6, 7, 8, and 9 again. But they're 20 cages, so they can take any of those digits, really, without having a problem. But I'm wondering if there's something about when we figured out these 2s and 3s here that we might be able to do something similar here. So I'm going to, again, put these in and just do a quick look and see if there's anything here that's going to give me any information. If I don't see any, I'll erase the marks. No, I don't see how any of these combinations would cause a problem. Okay, so I'm going to pull those out again just to keep clarity on the screen. I say this every now and again when I'm doing puzzles, but when I get tons of pencil markings down, sometimes it becomes very difficult to actually see what you're doing, because you could walk in and just put every single possible pencil mark in any of these things, but it kind of takes away your eyesight as to what can be done in some of these areas, because you have so much information just taking over every bit of your brain. And I don't have the talent to be able to pick things out quite that easily sometimes. So I like to try to keep it a little bit cleaner just so I can see better. But of course, that doesn't always work perfectly. What about down here? We've got a lot of these digits, so maybe we just need to start looking in here and see if there's anything that's going to pop out at us. So again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 already taken, plus 7 and 6. This is 6, 8, and 9. I don't know that that's going to do us much good either. But we can maybe look at this 20 clue, because it's a bet better. It's a bit better than what these guys are, because there's more options up here than I think there is down here. Now, let's say this is a 5. We'd have to be able to get to a 15 here, which is a 9, 6. That's easy to do. If this is a 7, we have to get to 13. And we can never do that. There's no way to combine these to get 13. 8 and 6 is 14, obviously. 9 and 6 is 15, and 9 and 8 is 17. So this cannot be a 7. So this has to be a 5 and a 7. And because this is a 5, this has to be a 9, 6 to get up to 15, which means this is our 8. Okay, and that's going to start opening a couple of things up here now. Good. This 6, 9 is also going to give us a 7 and the 9. And this can't be a 7. 2, 3, 5, no, okay. Not quite getting any groupings here that's going to be too useful, I don't think. All right, so, well, we've got 2 clues left that we haven't even really started to look at. I mean, I kind of did down here, but still we had tons of options that were open. So let's do a quick scan. We already know the ones are done, so let's see if we can do, excuse me, anything with any of the newer digits we pulled up. So we know one of these has to be a 4. That doesn't do a whole lot for me, though. 5s, we've only got 2 5s in the puzzle at the moment. So those aren't going to be too useful, I don't think. Same with 6s, really. Yeah, I don't see anything there. And then 7s we kind of looked at previously, and there wasn't a whole lot. And then there's not much left on 8s and 9s, so it doesn't look like Sudoku's going to help us out at the moment. Okay, so where do we have to look at next? That's a good question. It's got to be one of these guys down here, because that's all we really have left in terms of given clues. The rest of them are all fairly set. We just have to get to a point where we can get into some Sudoku and finish them off. Now, I know we know one of these is 3, so let's just mark that. That doesn't do me much good either. Is there any limitations to any of these 20s that I'm not seeing? Now we know they have to have a 9 or an 8, right? Because if they didn't have either, it'd be 7, 6, and 5. It's only 18. Yeah, so we have to have at least a 9 or an 8. The problem is we can't really rule out either one at the moment. Okay, I'm starting to run out of ideas here. Again, I don't think we can do much with these guys that kind of are stringing along on this other side here. Is there anything maybe in a row or a column we just haven't looked at yet that might be of use? We need a 3, so one of these has to be a 3, okay, because of this. So now we do get an X-Wing on 3s looking down here. So one of these has to be a 3, and we get an X-Wing on 3s now looking across this way, and one of these has to be a 3. That didn't actually help us. I thought that might lead to something, but it just gave us X-Wings all around. What else do we need? 7s, 8s, and 9s. Again, they can go anywhere in any of this, so that was not useful. Now, ruling out certain digits from these 20 cages, does that help us in any way? We know we can't put a 1, 2, 3, or 4 into this 20 cage. The 1 and the 3 and the 4 are obvious. The 2 is because if we put a 2 in, we'd have to get to 18 with 2 digits. We can't do that. So the bare minimum we can put in here would be 5, 6, and 7, which is 18, which is very close. Does that mean... What if we didn't have a 5? 6, 7, and 8 gets us too far, so we have to have a 5 in this cage. Another way to look at it, I think, is what I first thought in my head was, because we're only 2 away from what our bare minimum can be, if we were to remove the lowest digit and put something else in its place, we'd automatically be increasing it by 3, so that would go over the top, which is kind of I guess it's kind of a backwards way of thinking about it, but we have to have a 5 in this 20 cage by random bits of logic, so therefore the only place it can go is here because we have this 5 looking down here. So let's put that in. Now this 20 cage can't have a 5 in it. It can't have a 1, 2, or a 3 in it. Now we know that we can't do 6, 7, 8, so it must have a 4 in it somewhere. If it has a 4 in it, that leaves 16. There's only one way to make 16 with 2 more digits. That's 9 and 7. So this has to be 4, 7, 9. And these can't be 7, so this is 7. All right, there we go. And now we got a 4, 9 looking back here, so this can't be 4. This has to be 4. All right, let's keep this going. Come on. What's next? The 7 removes this as a 7. Let's just clean up as we go if we can. Now, what about these two? We're left with 15. We said these have to be from 9, 8, 7, and 6. And the problem is, oh no, there's no problem. We can't have a 7. So getting this 6, 7, 8, and 9, because of this column, those are the only digits left, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But we can't have a 7 in here, so we can't have an 8, 7. It has to be a 6, 9 to be able to equal that 15. And this cannot be a 9. So this is 6, this is 9, this is going to be 6 and 9 over here now. And then we're also going to be able to remove possibilities over here. So these have to be a 7, 8 pair for this column, which means these are not an 8. So this is just a 3, 6 pair, which means this is 8 and 6. Now we know these have to be what? 5 and 9? So we can get rid of some of that, which means this isn't 9. Okay. And was there anything else? Yeah, 5 actually sees this, so this is 9 and 5. Now we know we have a 9 here, so we have to get 11 more. The only way to do that is going to be with an 8, 3, because nothing else here works. So let's put that in and get a bunch of digits. This is not 7, which means this is 7. Okay. All right, it looks like we're getting close here now. This 3 can't exist, so this is our 3. And what else? What are these 3 digits? We have to have a 2. We have to have a 7. Okay, the 7 has to go here. And then we have a 2 and an 8 left. And there's actually nothing finishing that just yet, which is interesting. What about these guys? We need 2, 6, and 8. Okay, we have a 2 and a 6 here, so this has to be 8. This has to be 2. This has to be 8. This has to be 6. And that 2 now is going to finish our 3 and our 2. The 3 here is now going to get our 3 over here. There we go. This is actually just a given digit of, what, 8? So let's put that in. These are given digits of 5 and 6. Yes, that seems correct. Okay. We probably can do something up here now. Yeah, we got the 3 here, so this has to be a 3. This has to be a 5, 7 pair, which means this is 2 and 5. There we go. I think we must be into straight Sudoku territory now. But let's continue on our merry. We have to have a 2, 7, and 9. Not quite good enough. This can't be 9. This can't be 2. What about here? 3, 7, and 9. No, we still have multiple options there. Okay. So I think we're going to have to check in on Sudoku real quick. We said the ones were done, but now we have a bunch more digits that we can really work with, I think. Of course, the 2 is going to prove me wrong. The 3 is going to... Oh, no, the 3 does work here, so let's get 4 and 3 in. Okay. But we're left with an X-wing of 3s now, so what about 4s? We don't quite have enough on 4s. How about 5s? Again, that's going to be a no. 6s, one of these has to be a 6. How about 7s? We've got to be right on the edge here. And let's check out our 8s. This is going to be a 6-8 pair. So as you can see, 6s can't go in any of these. 8s can't go in any of these. And that'll give us our X-wing on 8s. And we actually do have an X-wing on 9s already here. So none of these can be 9, and this one here gets rid of that one. So this is a 9. So this has to be from 4 and 5 because it's all that's left in this column. We've got a 4 right here. So let's put our 5 and our 4 in. And our 5, and this might be all it takes. This is going to be 8 and 6. That 5 is going to give us our 7 and our 5. That 7 is going to come back and give us a 2. This no longer can be 2 or 9, so it has to be 7 and 9. And yes, I think we are on our way. This 8 here is going to give us 9 and 8. That 9 gives us 4 and 9. And let's see what our last options are. These have to be from 2 and 4. So the 4 here gives us that 2 and 4. That 2 is going to give us our 3 and our 2 and our 3. And this is a 7 to wrap it up. And there you go. You solved the puzzle. Awesome. That one was a lot of fun. I thought I was going to get stuck there for a while because I had a lot of stuff out here that it didn't seem like it connected together. But I guess once again, I'm proving that if I just write some digits in, sometimes it'll help you see things. So anyway, another excellent puzzle by FullDeck and missing a few cards. Hope you all enjoyed that one, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.